Hello there. I want to start by making some announcements and clearing up some things. So right here I have my Smart Penguins itch.io page, and currently I have two packages that are on sale. So Unity in Easy Mode SPUC, that just includes the SPUC package, and the other one is Unity in Easy Mode, and it includes the SPUC package and the previous version of it. So there is confusion between these two packages, and I know that I kind of created this kind of problem. So let me try to explain what's the difference. So the SPUC one just includes the SPUC package. So currently it's actually 20% off. I just decided to do a summer sale. So if you haven't picked it up yet, you can do that. And the Unity Easy Mode, this package was, well, not the package itself, but this listing was created, I think the first beginning of this year. So in that is March, right? Yes, in March. And that one actually has SPUC package, which is exactly the one that I just showed. So it's exactly the same one that I have here, plus it has the older version of or the early access, or like I used to call it Smart Penguins game kit. And I'm still keeping this listing because I have not moved all of the units that I have here that I've created there to the SPUC. So I'm not sure if I'll remove this listing after I've moved them all, but for those that actually started supporting me, supporting this package back in March, I'm keeping this listing up and live. Currently the SPUC version is updated here as well, so it's like the release of the SP game kit, although the SP game kit has a little bit more of templates that use art assets, and also the units are different. So there's but it's an early access, so that's, you'll see that it's not everything is like finished, and there's a lot of I guess testing phase in some of the units. But in SPUC, what I'm trying to do is actually only add units and changes that are actually be live and ready to be used in production, so you can actually start using them in your games and stuff like that. So that's the clear up that I have for the different versions. So if you're just looking for the new units that I'm creating and the project that I'm currently working on, you can just look at the SPUC. But if for some reason you want to also see the previous versions of units and the templates that I've created, so the templates, let me actually pull up. So this is that package. So, and in here, if we take a look at, I'm gonna be I'm just making an announcement right now and some clearing up some stuff, but I'll be getting back to like course of the SPUC. So if anyone's here for that, I'll be getting there. Also, if you have any suggestions for units, you can actually write that in the chat and let me know. I'll because I'm looking constantly of which units to add to SPUC and stuff like that. And if you have any questions about SPUC, also write that in the chat, and I'll try to answer all the questions that you guys have. So in here I have demos, and demos, there's a list of demos. So we have endless runner. I try to use just Kenny's assets, because they're in public domain. It's pretty nice that he did that. It helps a lot to make tutorials and these kind of demos that I can then share it with all of you guys. So there's different types of games here. So 2D platformer and 2D RPG, but they're not like complete games. They're just a starting of that type of a game, and there's lots of improvements that you can do that. So that's the 2D type of games that I have. And then for 3D, I just have 3D stack game, which is, I guess, it's also using the assets by and then I have these this 3D RPG, which I've created two things for it. I think it was the building. Well, started creating two things. So the building system, this is just beginning of a building system, and also I think objective system or something like that. So that's that package. That was and the latest release of that was quite back. So I have not been working on this package because my main focus is on SPUC currently, and I'm actually adding more units. So this week, let me go back. So let me actually go over what's new in and what I've been working on in SPUC for this week. So for this week, I decided to do some cleanup. So I actually created a new unit, enable disable, and this can be used with a combination of on keyboard input, because this you can't really stop the input here. Can't really stop enable disable the input. So I've created this enable disable, so you can actually use the same approach to control if you want to use the keyboard or not. And I went inside all of the units and also replaced them inside here to use the enable disable instead of the previous logic that I had. So just to clean that up. Then another change that I've been working on is some random. So I have a random vector 3, just generates a random vector between the values that you specify. And then also using that random vector, I have units for setting or adding random position if you want to shift on spawn and stuff like that. So, and same thing for rotation and scale. So you could have achieved the same thing with animation, but with animation you have you're not guaranteed that it's going to be moved in the same frame as you run it. So this is the approach that you can take. So you can actually use it as a set. So it's, well, if you don't have it, you have the add option on, it's going to actually set to that position. So if you know the specific position you want the objects to actually go, you can use the set. But if you want to add, for instance, if you spawned, so if you spawned in item and then you want to change the position, the spawn actually is going to set the spawner's position to the asset. So the asset can be located at the spawner, and then you can use this to actually add like an offset. So if you want to, for instance, offset from -10 to 10 in the y direction, you can use that, and it's going to actually create that offset for you. So really cool. And the other units that, and this is the actual part that is taking, well, all of the units actually take quite some time to create, because it's not I'm trying to see the bigger picture and how not just to create units that no one's going to use. So I'm actually trying to put a lot of time into crafting the units that I actually add, make sure that they will be needed in before adding them. And so the units that I've also was creating is the move horizontal and presets. So these two units are actually from the other package. So I actually started looking into getting the units from that package inside here, because I think I got most of the ground unit, the basic units in, and now I think it's a good time to add some presets to give that the idea that I had for the first version back into what I'm doing here. So let me actually, so the presets in here, that I had was move horizontal preset, move vertical presets, and jump preset. The jump preset, I still have to look into it, and there's that is something that I have to create, and a rotate horizontal and rotate vertical presets. Now I haven't created those. I'm still thinking about what's the best approach to do for that. So that is still not there, but the move horizontal and verticals are there. Now I'll show you what I mean. Inside here it's pretty simple, so that's the reason why I have not created, and I'm still debating if I want to create the rotate horizontal or not. Okay, enough of talking about that. Let's actually do something. Hello everyone. Hi. There's welcome. So any questions about SPUC, like how you guys doing, how are you using it, are you liking it, is there some changes that you want to see be made, or is there something that is like annoying to use or something like that? Be sure to like mention that where to get free music that can be used in game. Where can you get free music that can be used in game? I'm not actually sure where you can get free music, because a lot of public music, they actually don't allow to use it in game, so you can use it actually in videos. So the music that I have on my tutorials, that is actually some music that you can, it's called royalty free music. So they allow you to use it for videos, but not for games. So it is a little problem. There is one, actually I've just found it. Let me see if they actually have yeah, claim you're free. So this one right here, RPG Orchestral Essentials, you have some tracks here that you can I guess you can use for free. I know that you used to be able to use it for free, but I'm not sure what's if it's changed or not. But so if you use it, you need to actually provide that you're using that attribution, basically the attribution that you're using that. I'm not sure how much tracks are available here, but if you need more, you can actually look at some assets on the asset store and use of some of the sampling music that is out there, or some free music that is out there. But yeah, you have to actually do a search for that. I think this SPUC is nice feature to use in Unity. Well, that's really good to hear that you guys are enjoying it. Loud in video, but most not allowed in games. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that is most of the case. Okay, let's actually take a look at the game that I have here. And so I have two ideas that I have for this for today's I guess class, as you call it. Use horizontal, vertical movement, or show how to set up. And also I was thinking to use a joystick to control it. So if you guys are actually interested in me setting up on-screen joystick to actually control this sphere, that's one of the options. And then we can actually look at randomly spawning these cubes or something like that. Okay, so I will start with moving this object with the keyboard, and then we'll take a look at how we can switch it to use move it with a joystick. Now, move horizontal and vertical preset. You can use these to actually control. So currently I'm using move horizontal and vertical. Amazing photo. Good to hear that you enjoying the tutorials. And so here is the movement. So I have move horizontal and vertical. So right now I'm using the keyboard to actually move it, and you can see that it moves diagonal, up, side, and all of that. That's all good. Inside the move horizontal, there are some options here that I use. But okay, let's not take a look at that just yet. And I'm gonna take a look at creating move horizontal and vertical just by using the move node. So it's actually pretty simple. All you have to do is get the input axis input axis. I want to actually get input axis raw. Input axis raw. There you go. So you can use the value here. So let's use horizontal. Horizontal. And then we need to pass in the speed. So this horizontal output is going to be from -1 to 1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone already knows that, but just in case you're still new to this. And then we can use the multiply in generic and multiply it by the vector that we want to actually move it. So if we want to move in the x direction, we can specify that we want it the horizontal to actually control. So what's going to do, the output from here is going to be -2 to 2 in the x direction, and the other ones are going to be 0. And by passing that right there, this right here is a basic I guess move horizontal move script. Of course I have a little bit more in the moves horizontal move preset than that. I have some common things that you would want to do there. And right there, you can use horizontal keys to move left and right. So that's pretty simple to do. And same thing with, you can actually duplicate it and switch this to vertical. At any point, if you have any questions about something in SPUC, or you be sure to ask that. Vertical. Can do the same thing for vertical, except I need to switch it to the Z. I want to control Z. And like that, we can just click play and see that both of them are going to work right now. So there is our horizontal, and then there is our vertical. Now, with that setup, there's a problem. If I try to move diagonal, you'll see that the diagonal speed is going to be actually faster, and that is not what we want actually the speed to be, unless you want that to be a feature, that diagonal speeds are faster than straight speeds, but usually that's not what you're looking for, and you need to do some normalization. So in the horizontal and vertical presets, I actually have normalization done by default, but I need to expose the setting for it on the units. Okay. By the way, I didn't mention that, but the update of the units that I've showed are not out yet, because like I just mentioned, there's some things that I still have to change. So how you can do normalization is by so two options that we have here is either by adding these two things in a vector, making this a vector 3, and then multiplying it by speed, and use one move unit or use a separate move units. I'm gonna actually use one move unit, because I think that's a little bit better approach. So you can create. So this is probably like really standard, and I've done this a lot in tutorials already, and you're probably already tired of seeing the same thing over and over, but I just want to show the setup here, and then we can actually use the same setup and by controlling it with the joystick. So right there is our vector. Now we want to normalize it, so normalize the vector 3, and that's going to make sure that we have maximum of one unit in the direction, whatever direction we're moving, and that's going to prevent it from being faster when we're moving in diagonally. Then we can do a multiply. Actually, I just need to use multiply generic and multiply it by a float. So we use speed of 2, so now it's just 2. Pass that in for the move node, and there we go. This is a basic direction movement with normalization, and it actually uses just one move node. So I'm thinking actually having that preset. I didn't have that preset in the first version of SPUC or of this package, but I'm thinking of adding that as well, because that is a common I guess preset that you would use for top 2D game. Top. Yes, top. So that's the move unit, and you can do the same thing with rotation. So the rotation preset is actually a little bit simpler than the move unit, because it's actually just using the, I mean, you don't have to worry about the normalization and stuff like that, because you're just rotating. Well, it's not vertical, it's actually, you use horizontal to rotate and vertical to actually move forward. So you would just multiply, and again, you would multiply by generic and a vector where you want to rotate it, and using horizontal, you rotate it on the y-axis, pass that in, and that's pretty much it. That's how you would rotate. Okay, so that is the movement. Now, I said I'm going to show how to set it up with using the where to get this SPUC. Sorry, I have missed that. So that I did already show that. It's actually in here, so I'll post the link. This is from the itch.io page, and currently it's 20% sale, summer sale, so you can grab it. And while we here, I actually want to, so there's a joystick preset. It's actually available for free, so you can actually grab that. And this is the one that I want to actually use to control the movement, on-screen movement. Okay, and I want to replace the get axis raw with the joystick right now. So let's do that. I have the package installed, and let's drag the joystick inside here. So since I'm using the version 2021 SP joystick, you can see that they are not recognized. The scripts are not recognized, or the macros or graphs, whatever you want to call them. So what you have to do is actually go to project settings. Let me bring that window up, and under Visual Scripting you have fix mixing scripts. So if you run that, it should scan for the units that were previously that were using, I guess, previous configuration file from versions of Unity 2020 and older. And right there it found that's 4 units that are using some kind of script. And let's replace the reference, click OK. It recommends to actually restart, and you can see that it's actually still showing missing mono behavior script. So there's where I clicked OK, it actually says like we recommend to actually no, it's not free. The SPUC is not free. There is some units that units that you can try out, or you can actually use them in your projects. So you can get the try. Let me actually show that. So right here, if you go under SPUC, there's a download demo. So there are demo units. I don't remember, like I think it's 8 units or somewhere around there that I have some units, and they're like units that you use oftenly. So you can try that out and see if that's something that you like. But yeah, I don't have it free, so that I mean, I get support for continue working on it. So right there, after it restarted, wait, did I restart? So it recommended to restart, but it looks like I missed it. Did I restart it or not? Okay, so I have the joystick right there, and now I can actually go to my canvas and add a joystick preset. So there's a joystick preset prefab button, and also a joystick prefab. So if you drag that on canvas, you get this joystick. Now the setting, as far as I know, if you use scale with screen size, then the scale I think is perfect. Otherwise you will have to adjust the scale or width a little bit to actually fit how it looks in your game. So here is the joystick, and that is all good. Now I want to actually connect the joystick here to control my move. And there's some units I can only use joystick. And in here, I need to pass in the joystick prefab, and not prefab, but joystick game object. And I don't have a game object here. So what we're gonna do is actually gonna go here and add to our scene and add a variable. This is gonna be our joystick. Click add. This can be a game object, and pass that in. I could use, actually I don't remember if I have them up. But now we have a variable that we can use in our graph. So let's go back to our graph, and inside here we can just drag this joystick variable, connect it right there, and we have horizontal and vertical output. So it's, I use the same terminology for horizontal and vertical, so you can actually pass that in instead for there. And that's pretty much it. Let's see if it actually works, but that should be it for what you need to actually convert it to a joystick after we've been using horizontal and vertical. So now if you move the joystick around, you'll able to move the ball around. It so the joystick actually passes in value from okay, so right you see that we have a problem right now because it's actually it's always moving at this constant speed, but the joystick actually outputs a value from 0 to 1, so based on how far away, but it actually is snappy and it's not actually slowing down. So if that's what you're looking for, then we're good. You can just leave it as is, and that is done by the normalize. So whenever we use a normalize, the normalize actually make sure that it actually is always a unit of 1. And if there's a smaller value than that, it actually just makes it 1. If you want be able to slow down a movement by it depends on how far away the joystick is, then you want to bypass the normalization, actually not use the normalize, and multiply the raw value that you get from the joystick. And if you do that, then you be able to control the speed. So if you are closer, you're going to be moving slow, and then you can start moving faster. And with that, when we use joystick, we can actually increase this value because we can actually control the speed with the joystick. So that is how you can use the joystick prefab and the joystick package. Okay, so that is the joystick, and now let's look at randomly spawning objects. Well, that should be pretty simple, but I'm gonna actually still try to show something here. Okay, so currently I have 1, 2, 2 levels, and let's actually create a third level here for this new game, as I called it. So let's go inside here, levels, let me duplicate it, add the third level, I'll disable that one, and here what I want to do is actually, let's go inside here and remove all the enemies, and let's actually remove all the points. So I want to switch what's going on here. And what I want to do is let's remove this as well. So everything is 0. Okay, seems good. What I want to do is actually create a spawner, or I'll just call it spawner. create a spawner. This is going to have a script machine. I'm just going to use embedded. Go to edit. We're not playing, right? Yes. Go to edit, and in here on start, what I want to do is, well, actually not on start, but let's do on update. And let's do cooldown. So I actually want to spawn spawn the enemies and the coins and see what we're gonna get. So on cooldown, the spawn rate, let's set it to 1 second. I think should be good. Actually on start, well, no, I don't need to start. And the other thing is I want to actually move this spawner always towards me. So I'll do that. And this move direction will be, I think it's -2. I'm not sure about which direction, but let's just leave it at -2 right now. And on cooldown every second, when it's ready, then I want to spawn an enemy or a coin. So in my new template, we have prefabs, and we have an enemy. And let's do a spawn of a point. There we go. But then I want to choose which one to spawn. I don't want to spawn both of them at the same time. So let's use one of the random. Let's use random that has a threshold. So if it's over, we want more enemies than coins. So let's do 3. So 30% points and 70% enemies. We can spawn them, and then we can use the set position. Set add position. And this is going to be actually set. I want to set it. The position, let's go check out where do I want to actually place it. So let me create a so the camera is facing this way. So yes, we need to go move in negative direction, but the spawning place, let's actually spawn it off here. So let's actually spawn it from -9 to 9 and Z of 15. Go back to our spawner, add a graph, and here we'll go from -9 for X to 9. Same thing here, -9 to 9, and Z is going to be 15. So set that position, and Y is going to be 0. So that's the, I guess, the spawning logic that we're going to have. To add some randomization, we can do a random range. Let's actually do that right away. So inclusive using float, and we'll do from minimum of 0.7 seconds to 1.3. Click play. Except no, I forgot to add the level. Okay, so let's go to level loader and add the third level here. Levels, level 3. And now if I will be able to pass this level. Let's see if I can pass it. I kind of added too much speed for my player. Okay, so let's actually go to the player, add a script, and one more thing that I want to add here is to actually restart. I just have enemy if collide, but I want to actually check for if less than get position. I want to check position of my player and see if my player is actually falling down. Get Y position, get Y, and if it's less than negative, let's say -1, so if it's actually falls below -1, then I want to actually trigger the restart. Same thing as the end, so similar as an enemy. Okay, true. Okay, let's go back. What else? Oh, I want to decrease the speed, so let's set the speed to 5. Click play. Any questions? Anyone has any questions about SPUC or anything? Get 1 point. I'll be careful, and so we don't have to do this again. Okay, so there's a level 3, except I forgot to spawn it as children. So in our level 3, go inside here, spawner, let me remove this enemy, spawner, add a graph, and I need to spawn them as a child so that it will actually move with move unit that we use here. Hello. Coding with Barnes. So there you go. Now we have so now we have a different type of game, and actually can scale this to 50. Oh, no. Ground, actually, not 50. Undo that. Okay, so the scale was supposed to be around 21.7. Just make sure it's consistent. And Z, I actually want to scale it to 50. And that's going to create this kind of a game. Hi. I think if anyone has any questions, I think that's going to be pretty much it for... Okay, what have I changed now? I think I undone some graph stuff. Yes, I did. Any suggestions for units that you want to see in SPUC? Anyone has anything? So right there we get a you win screen, and it's because I have collected all the coins or points that were in the scene at a specific time. So if I want to actually avoid that, either I spawn the objects way ahead of time, so that gives a chance of a coin being there, or actually the other way of I guess making it an infinite level, can just create a point and just hide it off screen somewhere. That way there's gonna be always one point that I never can collect, which is gonna create an infinite level for me that way. Why enemy comes very slow? Yeah, well, that's the speed that I have it set at. So if I go here, I can increase the speed to make it faster. So like 10. I don't know if I'll be able to avoid 10. Well, let's try. Yeah, 10 is pretty easy to avoid. But this kind of game is probably, joystick is not the approach that you want to take. You probably want to use the touch move unit for this. So let's actually go and switch that to use a touch move unit for our player instead, because that's probably, you have a faster control that way. So let's actually disable this, and I have the absolute touch move unit, which for some cases, I guess it will be nice to use, but I'm still debating if I want to add it to one of the units as available, because the absolute actually is gonna position the ball like right at your mouse point, so it's not gonna give you that kind of a dynamic movement, or it's gonna be really like strict movement. But the other one that we have here is the touch move, and this one you have to kind of play with the speed to get what you're looking for. So screen X and Y multiplier, that's going to be how much movement of n pixels on your screen you have to actually do to move the object by that same amount. And then the smoothness actually goes from -9 to 0.21. But the reason why I shifted it, I could have kept it at like 0 to 1, but I shifted it because I think 0 is probably the slowest that you want to move. Unless you want it a bit more snappier, then you can go to -1. Because it creates a delay. I have a question about Unity Visual Script. Can you make a complete game with it like in the blueprints? Yes, you can make a complete game. So you can see that the multiplier is actually still too low. My screen space, like I have to move a lot for it to actually move. So we can increase the multiplier from, I guess, 3, let's do 10. Excuse me. And smoothness of 0. I think I like 0 better than -1. -1 is already kind of now I barely move and it's actually moving. So I think it's going to be, let me actually, okay. So if you're experiencing that it's not working as smooth, then you want to actually make sure that you deselect the player, because if you're displaying the information in the hierarchy in the inspector about the position, stuff like that, actually creates it harder. Now you can see that I can move forward and back. So if you want to disable that, that's also an option, and you can just go for screen Y space, set it to 0, and that will disable you from moving forward when you're moving in the Y direction. And with that, you want to then go and make sure you position the player at the place where you want him always to be. Let me disable the joystick because we're not using it anymore. Something like that. Yes, so you can create games, complete games with Unity Visual Scripting. So now if I move in any of the direction, it actually follows it. Just stays on that line. So you can increase the speed of the spawning and stuff like that to make it an actual game, and then adding some replacing these I guess circles and squares with some kind of 3D models and stuff like that to make it more appealing. Get a UI around it, add some animations to make it more lively looking, and shop system, and you got a game that you can publish on mobile. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. And so what's the plan for the next week is actually look at adding a little bit more of the some of the presets. So that's what I want to add, and also start looking at adding support for ads. So you can actually add so looking at units that you can add ads into your game for monetization purposes and stuff like that. If we want to add ads in the game using Unity Visual, so currently I don't have a node for that in SPUC yet, so that's what I'm going to be looking at next week. But if you are looking for adding ads, I did make tutorials already. Let me see. So there is where is, okay, so here is a video you can watch about ads, how to add ads to Visual Scripting. That video is I think it's almost a year old, so I need to update that video. But That's basically what you would do about it. But yeah, so that's more on that on the next week. That's the focus that I want to go into, actually looking at how to add ads. And well, I know how to add ads, but actually creating units that you can use in SPUC to actually add ads, and having the configurations and set up so it can be easier to implement it and stuff. Any more questions? I think I've covered everything that I was interested in, was thinking of covering today. So I hope this was helpful, the video. And so probably do another one next week, on next Saturday. And I'll start keeping them under an hour, so like just not go over 1 hour, because I think if I do it longer than that, that's a bit too much information just from one video. And that way I can actually focus on a specific topic that I'm interested in. Do you guys have any suggestions for the next video the next Saturday live stream? What you want to actually see me make with SPUC? Or I guess that if I'll get the ads in, I'll probably do something with that. Add units. But other than that, I think have a great day or night. See you guys later. One thing, I guess anyone's here yet? So I did the giveaway of SPUC key the first stream that I did, and I forgot to do it last time. So let's actually do it this time as well. So if you are actually interested in copy, okay, if you're interested in getting a free copy, you can go to a Discord server. So join the Discord server. That should be the Twitch channel, Twitch chat channel, and write SPUC there, and I will consider you for a random key drop. So I'm gonna generate a key so you can get access to SPUC. So I guess I should have announced that a little bit earlier. So just write SPUC, write SPUC in which I was thinking of an easier way to actually do this, but I don't know. I don't know a better way if I can actually contact, like send a key through YouTube to a specific user. So that's why I'm using the Discord. If I could have done it through YouTube, I would have done it through YouTube. So, but I guess joining the Discord, my Discord server wouldn't hurt, because that's where you would actually want to ask questions and post screenshots of graphs if you have trouble with using SPUC and stuff like that. So I'll give it a 24 hours. I guess whoever watches it later can actually do this. Go to the Discord and write SPUC in Twitch and be able to get a free copy in 24 hours. Anyways, that is it. I'm ending the stream now. See you guys next time.